This edition of the MG Trophy Championship is sponsored by Norfolk Motor Group. Hello and a very warm welcome along to the fifth meeting of the season for the MG Trophy Championship 2019. It's also our last meeting of the year. Our previous race was at Alton Park, that was at the end of August, and after we did the sums we established that the new champion is Graham Ross, who has successfully defended his championship title. It's still all to play for in Class B, the 170s and also the 160s, but here are the points as they stand coming here. Graham Ross champion, Doug Cole second, Class B tied between Sam Kirkpatrick and Paul Luthi. Without further ado though, let's talk to the man just confirmed as champion, Graham Ross.
Graham Ross, 2019 MG Trophy Championship champion. That sounds good.
It does, sounds good, doesn't it? And I've been informed that I'm the first back-to-back champ, so any of these things will look good on my CV. I didn't know until, a couple of weeks after Oulton that I had enough points to do it, because the drop score thing, I'm not that good a mathematician to work it all out. But yeah, happy. Come here as the champ and just, it's a wee bit more relaxing. But I'd like to come here and get a win, because I've not won at Snetterton before. So that's incentive to come here and just try and get a win or two if I can.
Paul, final event of the year, been a season of ups and downs for you, but we've got to this final event with level pegging on the points with you and Sam.
Yeah, who would have thought that, eh? He's had DNFs, I've had DNFs. The chances of coming into this round with the same score, pretty slim, eh?
That's how you like it though, isn't it? You don't want it too easy.
Well, as you know, I keep telling you this, yeah, I'm here for the crack, and that spices it right up a bit, you know. It's very close now for overall winner, you know. So I'm feeling pressure, I'm sure he's feeling pressure too. Let's hope it's fun.
Now, qualifying went well, especially for the second race we're going to later in the day, because you're a pole, aren't you?
Yes. I pole for class for both races actually, which is great. That's the first time I've been on pole this year. I don't tend to be very good at qualifying, in all honesty. I think Sam's had them all this year, so yeah, that was nice. But to be honest with you, that was luck. I gambled on wets when everybody else went for dries, so that's pretty much how I got it.
Sam, been a great season for you. You've certainly made your place on all these podiums. Now we come into this level pegging with Paul Luthi there, so pressure's a bit on this weekend.
Yeah, Paul's a very, very good racer, so it'll be hard to beat him, but I'll also try my best.
Been a pretty clean year for you. Great learning curve as well, and the team have actually prepped the car. It's run pretty faultlessly, hasn't it?
Yeah, we just had a few problems through the year, but nothing too major. Had a few crashes, but that wasn't the team's fault. But they've been good at getting the crashes fixed and ready for the next round.
Fred, now we've only just really met you this year, but you've certainly made your mark in the championship. How's it been for you so far?
Yeah, been really good, really competitive series. I've really enjoyed it. Qualifying went okay today, P4, so P2 in class. Well, P2 in class for the ones that qualified on slicks, so the two further ahead were on the wets. So it was 50-50 tyre decision earlier. I think we got the wrong decision, but we did it right. So.
Traditionally for the MG Trophy Championship, this Snetterton event very competitive one, but we usually have rain. Currently it looks okay, cloudy skies, it could go either way. What's your preference?
Well, we were here yesterday and it was wet and greasy all day, so I'd quite like it if it was a bit wet and greasy. So obviously it'd be nice if it's dry, but I'm quite happy if it stayed wet and greasy. So.
Fingers crossed for good weather today. Graham Ross starts on pole, the double champion. Doug Cole to his outside. The 170 pole going to Paul Luthi from Sam Kirkpatrick. 160s headed by Josh Bacon from Martin Webber. Sadly, the returning Richard Marsh, returning to the grid at the meeting, is returning to the paddock in race one. That's a big shame. Hopefully he'll be back out for race two, or can remedy whatever's wrong and get out onto the track maybe from a pit lane start here. We'll have to wait and see. Lights are on. Out go the lights. So the champion Graham Ross, well, not the best of starts. Super start by Doug Cole. Cole leads as they go down into Riches. Graham Ross second. Third place is Paul Savage. On the outside of him we got Patrick Booth. Super start. And okay, so the 170s, it is Sam Kirkpatrick around the outside line of Paul Luty. Good start from both outside drivers on the front of their respective grids, but it's Doug Cole that leads into the Wilson hairpin for the first time. Graham Ross already nibbling away and looking at what will be the outside line going down in towards Palmer. In car with Fred Burgess, looking back at another returnee, Gianni Piccioni. Only Gianni's second meeting of the season. He was with us at Donington Park. A little bit of a scrap going on behind Gianni with Tyler Ballard in the 80 car having a go. Also having a go here is Graham Ross, who looks around the outside line of Doug Cole coming into Agostini. Side by side, Cole here really would want to go wide out onto the curbs, but he doesn't. He gives the champion room. That was fair racing from Cole and a great move by Graham Ross, who gets into the lead. Had a much better run as a result of the 99 car not squeezing him onto the grass. Fair play, Doug Cole. Great move by Graham Ross. And that is MG Trophy Championship racing at its very best. Here's a great view of it from in car with Patrick Booth running in third place. They come now onto the backstretch. Tyler Ballard's off. That's Tyler Ballard in the barrier. Now we can see what happened. He was, oh, look at that. Sam Johnston gets into the back end of him and Tyler is turned around onto the grass. That's got to be a safety car because the car is off the track. Another two retirees, well, one non-starter, which was Richard Marsh, and a retiree now, Tyler Ballard. So disappointment for him. Fred Burgess clatters the curbs. Fred being followed by, there is Fred with the 37 car, Mike Harris right behind him. Thankfully Tyler is okay. Extremely distraught, as you could see, but they're bringing out the safety car. You know, nobody likes to see a car off the track. Samuel Johnson caught the back end of him. I wonder how the clerk of the course will see that, because the fact that the car got turned around meant that Samuel had a little bit more momentum. Who wants to be a clerk, eh? Also, who wants to have a car in retirement? Tyler Ballard, because of any impact or incident he's taken in the medical car, but I'm sure will be okay. He'll just go for a checkup. So that damaged car, hate seeing damage at any stage of the season. You know, all of these drivers work for a living, put so much work in their leisure hours into preparing cars so that they can enjoy themselves and entertain the people who watch the programme, watch the racing as well. You can see a fair few people parked up on the outside. We've got a good lot of spectators here. Remember, this is a 3-mile track. So it's not like a football pitch where you've got a small bit of grass which everybody crams into. You've got 3 miles of track here for spectators to spread out around. Anyway, Graham Ross he's done the restart well, Graham Ross. Doug Cole in second place. So Doug makes a good start. Patrick Booth, who is third in the 190 class standings championship wise. The 170s headed jointly, as we heard, by Sam Kirkpatrick and Paul Luty. If you do it on count back to wins, Sam is actually ahead on that count back, but at the moment Paul Luty, having qualified in pole position for both races, grabs an extra point for those, and he won't drop those points. He only dropped the race points. In car with Paul Luty. This is a superb shot. We've had he loves his tech, does Paul. We've had some superb onboard shots from him, and as you can see, he's got the lead over Sam Kirkpatrick, so looking to extend the championship lead further here, and Kirkpatrick needs to get in front of him. It's basically, I think, who's going to get the most points today. The drop score scenario for either of them. If they have a bad race, either of them has a bad race. Well, actually, Sam Kirkpatrick doesn't drop any points because he's got 2 retirements, but if Paul Luty has a bad result here and brings one of his drop scores back into play, it basically means that Sam Kirkpatrick would have done better anyway. And the drop score scenario with Graham Ross, confirmed as champion as we heard, is basically Graham's drop scores are 4th place and the 2nd. And he didn't need to come here this weekend. Basically, if he'd have parked up, he'd have got the points back from the scores that he would now drop. And he was that far ahead that the second place driver in the overall championship, all the 190s, couldn't catch him anyway. But I've got to say, well done to Graham Ross for coming out and racing at this final round. What a racer he is. Doesn't need to do it, but that's the whole point. What I really sometimes I wonder why we have drop scores. And I know there are very valid reasons why we do, but sometimes it's just better to let all the drivers race when they want to. In car again with Paul Luthi. Look how calm and collected he is. This will be, yep, we're on the back straight. Nice big run. They get a little bit of a breather before they go into Brundle. Nelson corner here. Sam Kirkpatrick very nearly fires himself off the curbs. Loses a bit of momentum there to Paul Luthi. Robin Walker right in behind as well. Robin, of course, race winner at Alton Park round 7. Career first win for him, which was absolutely brilliant. We did have it was a jump start for Graham Ross, if memory serves well, coming through Murray's corner, which is the last corner on the lap before they come on to centre straight. That the battle for second in the championship as well between those two, I think. Then we've got Tom Butler and James Cole in the green number 88, the 28-year-old from Aylesbury, back with Fred Burgess, 25 years old. We've got such a good mix of age ranges here, with basically a mix of 60-year-olds down to teenagers. It's such a great spread. And Graham Ross, he probably won't thank me for telling you how old he is, but he's 52 years of age, as Fred Burgess looks to make a place here. Burgess working hard, and we've got looks like a challenge on behind him as well. Burgess on the outside line there of James Cole. He's got the inside run down into Palmer corner, but Cole could get a better run by going wider into Palmer, which is where our camera is here. Burgess through though, makes up that position. Still Paul Luthi leading the 170s at the moment, and there is that 77 190 class car, Robin Walker. Just if you haven't seen MG Trophy racing before, the 190 brake cars have the orange strip across the windscreen, the 170s have the yellow, and the 160 standard power cars, which aren't part of the main championship anymore, have the white windscreens. They have two drivers this weekend, Josh Bacon and Martin Webber. In car again with Paul Luthi looking at his dials. The good news for Paul is that Sam Kirkpatrick, the Cumbrian teenager, has got Robin Walker right with him as well, putting big pressure on him at the moment. So Robin Walker really keeping Sam Kirkpatrick occupied, and that will, in some respects, keep the number 3 car's eye off challenging Paul Luthi. So what does Sam Kirkpatrick do here? Does he let the 77 car go through and maybe let him have a nibble at Paul Luthi and then perhaps try and follow him through, or does he defend from that position and carry on going? Got a great battle on for second place between Doug Cole and Patrick Booth. Graham Ross still out front, Paul Savage running in 4th place. There is Robin Walker at the back of shot there with the orange sunstrip, running 5th position in Class A, the 190s. Paul Luthi starting to get away at the moment, so Luthi crosses the line now, still followed by Sam Kirkpatrick. So remember, Luthi 2 points ahead at the moment with the 2 pole positions, extra point for fastest lap, 3-point advantage if you win class in the race as well. Here comes Robin Walker, has a look up the inside line, and Paul Luthi might be having a wry smile if he looks in the mirror, because that puts one car between himself and his championship rival. But looking back now, Sam Kirkpatrick, well, there wasn't a plan for Kirkpatrick to let that Class A car in the mix. If he works together, he might be able to get a tow and close in on Paul Luthi, but Robin Walker's having none of that. He wants to get further up the order. They're not taking points off each other, 77 and 3, and it's Walker on the inside line. This is fascinating stuff, and Paul Luthi here he's got fastest lap as well, Paul Luthi, so he's seeing an extra point potentially from that, an extra 3 points if he can win the class in this race as well. On board with Fred Burgess. Fred working hard and trying to get up towards the podium in the 170s. Immediately behind him is James Cole in the green number 88. Well, now Robin Walker has got clear of Sam Kirkpatrick and is challenging Paul Luthi, but there's a little bit of a gap back between Paul and Walker. Here is the shot as Robin Walker draws level, the 190 car drawing level with the 170. Down the straight, is he going to be able to get round the outside line into Brundle corner? Fred Burgess making a move as well. Burgess looking to go on the outside line here of Tom Butler in the 55 car. We've got Gianni Piccioni coming up as well in the 5, has cleared James Cole. So good stuff from Gianni in the plain back number 5. If you see a plain car here, with no sign writing on it, and you fancy getting involved as a sponsor, get in touch with the club and get involved. It's not so much the publicity, but it's just such a great championship to be involved with at the racetrack. Enjoy some superb days out with the MG Car Club and a superb group of drivers and 3 classes to choose from, which is the absolute ace. The only thing is, there is a danger if you come and sponsor a car that you want to get involved and have a drive yourself, and it can get even more expensive, but more fun. It's got to be said. Here's the race leader, this year's champion, last year's champion as well, Graham Ross, the first man, as you heard, to successfully defend an outright championship title in the MG Trophy Championship. Paul Savage running 4th in class, in car with Paul Luthi again. Luthi at the moment still fending off Robin Walker, and right behind him is Sam Kirkpatrick, so Sam's got back on the case here. The teenager closing in again. Now, if the Class A car can find a way through, it might be that Sam has realised that on these long straights there might be a little bit of a toe to be picked up, and he might be able to close in on Paul Luthi, down in towards Agostini again. Luthi, I've got to say, not defensive, nice wide line in, and I'm sure he won't want the 77 car to necessarily pass him and open up the potential for a challenge for the class lead. Tom Butler chased by Gianni Piccioni, with Fred Burgess on for a podium in the number 17 car. He's been a good front runner in this championship. He's been on the podium for all of his finishes so far. Now here we go, Robin Walker goes through, and now we've got the 2 leading Class B cars, the 170 cars, together on board with another of Paul's cameras. He's got some superb views to show us as Paul Luthi. It really does add to the coverage. In car with him now, and look at this, having a go is Sam Kirkpatrick. Sam's got the run, the Wheat Sheaf Garage car is going past, got his nose in front, so they come down into Brundle, he's got the lead, and a potential 3 points, and again you saw from that footage how clean the racing is between the 2 of them. Luthi gets a little bit crossed up going in, he was on that wider line there, and Sam Kirkpatrick, Luthi will fight back, Sam Kirkpatrick's got the lead. Now if he wins this, he'll go into a 1-point lead in the championship. At the moment, let's just check, Paul Luthi's got the fastest lap, so he will take, oh goodness me, Luthi 3 points ahead if we include the poles of the fastest lap. It will still be a tie, won't it? Because it's only 3 points between first and second. It is going to come down to who does what in the final race, and then back to countback. Doug Cole still running in second. Graham Ross has got the fastest lap of the race outright, which was back on lap 5, and he is heading for his first win at Snetterton. Doug Cole is second. Third place, Patrick Booth. Here comes Patrick. Then we got Paul Savage. Robin Walker now clear of the 170s as well. He's had a good race. Mike Harris goes through. Then James Cole, so Mike Harris up to 6th in class. It's Kirkpatrick, Luthi, Burgess, Butler, Piccioni, Harris, then Samuel Johnston, as Paul Luthi in car with him, and just in time. Look at that, that's the man we're chasing for the championship lead. They came into the meeting tied on points by my reckoning, and that explanation that I gave you, I think they're still tied. Depends when you add in the point for Paul's second pole position. As Paul rightly said, Sam Kirkpatrick has taken 8 poles out of 8 before this meeting this year, and he's trying to close in. It looks like a done deal for him at the moment. He's clear of Paul Luthi as they come onto the Bentley Straight for the last time. So the Class B battle is going to go all the way to the wire here by the look of it, and it's the youngster in lead position at the moment, the blue car with the yellow sunstrip, the black bonnet. He is the class leader in the 170 class from Paul Luthi. Still got to get around Coram and into Murray's, and Luthi trying his hardest to close up. Meanwhile up front, it's Graham Ross looking for yet another win. The champion didn't need to be here this weekend. It's coming up on Martin Webber, who is second in the 160 class. Martin goes to the outside line, he gets another lap. No, he doesn't. It's a win for Graham Ross once again, his first win at Snetterton. Doug Cole takes second place. Third position will go to Patrick Booth from Paul Savage there. And this is the run for the 170s. In car with Paul Luthi, who is chasing. And it's Sam Kirkpatrick who takes the win from Paul Luthi. I'm sure they're Paul going side by side with him, and it will be thumbs up. Next across the line, a podium for Fred Burgess ahead of Tom Butler, Gianni Piccioni, Mike Harris, Samuel Johnston, what a race we've had. Here is Josh Bacon, the 20-year-old from Horsham, who is going to take the 160 class win once again. Love to see more 160s out next year. Such a great entry-level class for MG Trophy Championship. Great stuff by Josh Bacon. We saw Martin Webber already taken the flag. He was second in the class, but Graham Ross did what he didn't have to do. Didn't have to race that immaculately prepared car. If you need signage done, talk to him. That's what he does for a living. And Sam Kirkpatrick will see the 160 class decided on the last race of the season. Here's the result. Ross from Cole and Booth, Savage, Walker, Kirkpatrick, Luty, Burgess, Butler and Piccioni, your top 10. Mike Harris was in 11th position. Fastest laps, by the way, Graham Ross, Paul Luty and Josh Bacon. Samuel Johnston 12th from James Dennison and John Booth. James Cole, Joseph Delgado, Josh Bacon and Martin Webber completing the finishers, who are down in victory lane.
So Graham, now I thought a man in your position was going to take it fairly steadily on that one, but you just went surging ahead.
Well, I've never won at Snetterton before, so I had a mission. I wanted my win at Snetterton, so yeah, go for it. Nothing really to lose, so let's see what we can do.
Now, championship in the bag there, so really it's just fun for the last final race of the year.
I suppose it is, yeah. I like Snetterton, so coming the 450 miles down wasn't really a chore, and I wanted to get my first win. That's really what I wanted to do at Snetterton. So, great. It's come down, have a bit of fun. Weather's decent. What could be better for a weekend?
Doug, known for your strong finishes there. I think you were just gaining a little bit of the pace on the final laps, but a bit of a mixed bag of a race. What with the safety car as well?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened. I mean, I was on it, had a good start, got in front of him, and then he managed to go around the outside of me around that hairpin. I don't know how he quite did that, but I wasn't going to push up him in the grass. And I was chasing him, I was doing all right, and then the safety car came out. I thought, this is fine, where we are. And then straight off the safety car, I just had no grip on the front left for the first 2 laps through onto the back straight. It was just like understeering off, and he had no grip everywhere. I'm thinking, what's going on? Of course, he'd got away, having a load of trouble with Patrick behind me. And then after about 3 laps, it started coming back, and I thought, I've got grip now. And it started, and I obviously pulled away. And obviously, Patrick had a bit of an issue by the sound of it, but my lap times were improving. So he obviously had done the off by then, and he was just managing the race. So I killed myself in the first 3 laps after the safety car, really. But I can't quite work out. The only thing I can think of is we put an old tyre on the front left. To be fair, my youngest son said he needed to put the newer one. I thought, yeah, all right. But I don't think we did, because we were panicking around about the drive shaft, the head gasket a little bit, because I sat in half firm this morning and it sort of got a bit warm. There was water, it was a bit strange because I just done the head gasket. But anyway, second's good enough, and I'm going to follow this young Scottish gentleman home again in the championship. I think he needs to stay north of the border next year.
Patrick, great clean race there for you, and how was it from the driver's perspective?
Well, it was a great race. I mean, we'd not done a dry lap here at Snetterton yet, so they put a setup on the car that should have worked, and it was fantastic. And I was right on the back of Doug all the way for the first few laps. I was starting to look, where is he slow, where I'm quicker, and then unfortunately my gear selector went. So I then spent a couple of laps literally being super careful in every gear till I figured that one out, and I think I drove the last lap basically staring at the gearbox to make sure I didn't buzz the engine. But so very pleased to bring it home in third, to be honest.
Well, that went well. Certainly some exciting overtaking manoeuvres here and there, and you and Paul nip and tuck there, and it puts you 1 point ahead.
Yeah, it was a very close race, and at one point I thought Robin Walker was going to get stuck between us, but he managed to get past Paul, and then that gave us a chance to get a race, and I managed to get him at the end of the straight.
Quite a lot of activity on the infield there. That seems to be where you're looking for overtaking manoeuvres.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of nice tight hairpins where you can go for an overtake here, so I was trying my best.
Race 1 done and dusted, certainly nail-biting as far as you and Sam was concerned there, and we're going to go to the final race. It's everything to play for the championship for the 170 class.
Yeah, so it was even when we started. He's now 1 point ahead. Yeah, it doesn't really get much closer, does it? After that race, there's not much in the car, so I think it'll be a battle for race 2.
Started in pole position on race 2 again there, so does that give you an advantage or not on this circuit?
Yes, it should do. However, due to the class structure, turn 1's always a bit of a nightmare with the faster cars, the 190s, because they kind of slow up before we do. So I could get a great start and then just get blocked because there's cars in front of me and someone behind might find a way around, which is actually what happened in race 1 at the first corner. So yes, in theory it should be an advantage, but not always the case.
Master here with Craig from the NMG Motor Group. Now, Craig, I can't believe it's 12 months since we last met.
Yes, this year's gone very quickly, isn't it? It's been a very busy year for us. MG has moved on phenomenally even in that 12-month period, so exciting to be back, exciting to export it all again.
So, title sponsor of the programme, much appreciated by drivers and viewers alike. Good integration between what's happening on the circuit and actually on the road as well, so it's good for business.
Well, that's always been the idea, is to really maximise the image of the brand and the brand awareness, and to, as I said to you even last year, to show the heritage of where it came from, where it is today, and the future is some of the new models we now have in our range.
Now, the MG Trophy Championship, obviously they're very grateful for the sponsorship itself. I know you've said before about whether you'd get in a race car or not, but I do believe you took the electric car out for a bit of a test run on the track.
Yes, we had a bit of a debut out there with the MG ZS actually on the track doing the parade. Great experience. Whether it'll catch on as a new series, you never know. 2020, here we come.
We appreciate your support. Thanks very much, and enjoy the rest of the event.
No problem. Fantastic being there. Enjoy.
Very great race there. You were leading a pack of cars there on your tail, and I could see you were trying to keep up with Paul and Sam as well.
Yeah, I mean, I got a terrible start, so I got pushed to the back of the middle of the pack really, and then after the safety car, I thought, well, I'm going to get past a few of these. I'll have a go. So I had some good pace at the start, managed to get by, and I had a bit of a train behind me, and I could see Paul and Sam quite a way ahead, so I thought I'd just settle for third.
So James, always great to see new drivers on the grid there, and you come in on the final round, so is this a bit of a test the water for potentially 2020?
Yeah, exactly. This is a taster of the MG Trophy to see what it's like and just get my head around it really, and then hopefully come back to the full season next year. Yeah.
What have you done before as regards to racing?
It's nothing with cars. I did karting at university, the BUKC with Southampton for a few years, captained then, but that's still an arrive and drive championship, so there's nothing on the scale of this, like owning your own race car or owning your own car, nothing like that. So fairly modest level of racing before, yeah.
So why the MG Trophy Championship?
Do you know, I'd seen a few people talk about it. A couple of my colleagues had raced in this series that I work with, and yeah, I think it was the budget you can do it at. You know, it's a reasonable price for motorsport, as that can possibly be, and it's just good fun as well. It looks really, really good fun. I thought I want to have a go at that. So yeah, I found Paul Stredder, who's running my car. A mate of mine put me in touch with him, and we went from there. We got the car a couple of months back, and yeah, here we are.
So Gianni, it's been a while since we caught up with you. How's the season been overall as we go into this final round?
Yeah, it's been really good fun. It's only the second meeting I've done this year, so we're just having a bit of fun really, and yeah, having a good first race and look forward to the second one.
Fifth, I think, in that one, so that's pretty good overall, considering, like you say, you haven't actually had much time behind the wheel on the track.
Yeah, that's it. I was quite happy with fifth. I dropped back a bit at the start, and then yeah, tried to get a race and yeah, finished fifth. So I was quite happy with that. Start ninth in the second race. So yeah, I'll just try and do the same.
Tyler, race one done and dusted, but scary moments for you there. What's the story?
Yeah, sort of another competitor went off the track and sort of come back on, and collected the rear quarter of the car, which in turn spun me around into the barrier sideways. So yeah, it was a very short race, and yeah, race over. So.
Racing incident officially there, so I mean, I know these things happen. The incredible thing is not only that you're unscathed, but your team are pulling a miracle there, because it looks like you're going to be ready for race two.
Yeah, they've worked very hard again. So we was in this position same time last year, so yeah, I owe them a lot. I owe them all a pint when we get back, so yeah.
That's official now, because you've actually said that on camera.
Yeah, that's it.
I'll make sure by the end of the dinner dance evening that Tyler has done that, unless he wheedles out of going to the presentation night, which we're all looking forward to. Graham Ross on pole for the second race. Doug Cole again on the outside line. Patrick Booth and Robin Walker Road 2. The 170s between Paul Luthi and Sam Kirkpatrick. When you add the pole point back in, they're tied. This could go anyway. Lights on, here we go. Another great MG Trophy battle. Look at the grid, it's a superb grid of cars. And that's the reason why we've got James Dennison joining the championship. A very warm welcome to him. Great to hear from him in the build-up to the race. So we are racing, and Paul Luthi, at the moment, it is advantage. Kirkpatrick round the outside line of Mike Harris, but Luthi's looking on the inside run now as they come up towards the hairpin for the first time. Graham Ross out front, no mistaking from him. Watching it's Luthi, advantage Luthi at the moment, inside line, and Kirkpatrick having to deal with Mike Harris. Fred Burgess looks across, he's got Kirkpatrick immediately in front of him, but it's Graham Ross out front. Josh Bacon involved in a little bit of argy-bargy there. Everybody from race 1 back out, by the way. Richard Marsh is back out on track as well. Non-started race 1. So a super job by all the teams to get the cars back out. What a splendid looking grid it is. Oh, Mike Harris has a half gyration there as they go out of pretty much on the apex of the hairpin. He did well to keep it going, and a good bit of damage limitation from Mike Harris. Graham Ross, though, that was his 7th win of the season in race number 1. In car with Paul Luthi. He's got the class lead. We're going to have a little look ahead, and that camera really needs to be focused behind on what Sam Kirkpatrick does. It is going to come down to fastest lap, but I reckon here what we're looking at points-wise between those two is 20 points for the win, 17 for second. So as long as Luthi and Kirkpatrick stay out front, it's whoever finishes ahead of the other who will claim the crown for the 170 class. That's the way it is. Tom Butler being chased by James Cole. Tyler Ballard, good job by the team. The Abingdon 20-year-old in behind in the number 80 car is having a little bit more track time in this one, which is great. Obviously he's got to shake the car down because they won't have had a chance to sort the setup out with no laps in race number 1. So he might be on the back foot a little bit this one, but it's Ross from Cole and Booth once again. Savage and Walker, then Paul Luthi, and the top 3 in the 170s, the 3 cars we're looking at. On board with Paul once again, past the pit wall, he's in front, he's under big pressure at the moment from Sam Kirkpatrick. Paul Luthi, so it's 37-year-old versus 18-year-old, Paul twice his age. Paul will be thanking me for that at the end of the year. In car with Fred Burgess. Now, if Burgess separates the pair of them, then that will be crucial for the championship. If Burgess wins, as Sam Kirkpatrick goes through, Kirkpatrick side by side with Paul Luthi. This is for the championship lead. Superb shot again. In-car looking across like a NASCAR on board. Superb stuff. Through goes Robin Walker, and Paul Luthi's got the lead back. This is wonderful racing from the MG Trophy Championship, and now you can see at the back of shot. Apologies to Graham Ross who leads this one, but we're looking at the 170 battle. Fred Burgess in the mix as well. Burgess goes for the lead. Burgess dives down the inside of the pair of them. Luthi's on the outside, looking back. Burgess up to second. Is he going to have the inside line for the next corner? Yes, he will, but it's a wide sweep from Sam Kirkpatrick. Now he's got the inside as they come up into Oggies. Kirkpatrick still in second. He's having to defend that. In car with Fred Burgess. Goodness me, what a race for the championship. Burgess and his nose in front at one point. He is working so hard and could be the fly in the ointment for these two if we're not careful. If Burgess wins, then it's 1 point per place, 17, 16, 15 for second, third and fourth and so on in class. And Burgess is looking like he might be capable of taking the win here. Well, he is. We would know that from the pace he's shown already. Under the bridge, into Brundle. Left-hander now at Nelson. Kirkpatrick trying to close down on Paul Luthi, who's got that advantage at the moment. Luthi took the fastest lap as well in race number 1, so additional point for him there. Graham Ross still out front, 7 wins, incredible run out of the 9 races we had this year, and Graham is only a couple of months older than Jason Plato, who hasn't had a win this year. I know it's a different formula, but it's nice to make these little comparisons every now and again. But Graham Ross, the key thing is a 52-year-old winning a championship which has got teenagers in it. And that says a huge amount about this wonderful championship. Through goes Samuel Johnston. There in the number 50 car, John Booth, 52-year-old from Chesterfield, having a good run at the moment. James Dennison, the newcomer, up ahead of Joseph Delgado, Hampshireman, and James, racing journalist. He's going to find it expensive, isn't he? Once you get into the racing bug, he was saying that MG Trophy a consideration because of the cost effectiveness of this racing, but once you get hooked in, goodness me. But really good to have him on board in the championship, and doing a good job as well, James Dennison. In the first race, found himself in 7th position in class, so good stuff. Back with the leaders though in the 170s. There is James, again a little dip back. Joseph Delgado right behind, then Samuel Johnston's going to have a look as well, immediately behind him. Graham Ross still out front. There is Doug Cole in second, giving chase. I seem to remember Doug Cole saying at Alton Park, if he didn't get fastest lap, go and watch the Alton Park racing again, because I think it was the end of race 2. He raised his socks off and he said, if I don't get fastest lap, I'm packing up. He didn't get fastest lap. I hope it doesn't mean he's going to pack up at the end of the year, because we love having him in MG Trophy, but go and watch that for the quote. It's on record. Here's the leader, Graham Ross still there. Doug Cole in second place. Wonderful interviews with those guys as well at the end of race number 1. Racing for real people, this is. Look at this, here's the battle for the 170s. Lutey under massive pressure now from Sam Kirkpatrick. Sam's got a little bit of breathing space at the moment over Fred Burgess. And Kirkpatrick has got all the cards here, goes to the outside, has a little nibble up the inside line into Coram. In car with Paul Lutey. Look how focused Lutey is on his championship rival. We look back, there is the number 3 car. Kirkpatrick drops back for a moment. He's weighing up his option as they come through Murray's now, the 90-degree corner which brings them onto centre straight. Loses around about a length or so there. Now the run slightly uphill, then there's a little bit of a brow, very slightly downhill into Rich's corner. The top 3 in the 170s. Across the line they go again. Lutey having to drive on his mirrors to some extent. Into Rich's, all 3 of them, neat, tidy. Now down into the hairpin they go. Kirkpatrick mounting a challenge again as they go into the infield complex here, down towards Palmer. Blue skies punctuated by a cloud, very picturesque here at Snetterton Circuit, and it's the Scotland. Are we going to see a double Scottish Championship? That thought only just occurs to me. Graham Ross, the Scotsman's already wrapped up the overall championship. Are we going to see a Scot winning the 170s as well? He's under big pressure, none too defensive there, going into Agostini. Watch the line on the exit, out to the curbs, doesn't exceed track limits. Perfect stuff from Lutey, perfect from Kirkpatrick too. James Dennison on the inside line of Samuel Johnston. Dennison having a very good run. I've got to say, he's chosen well. You can see he's got the rookie cross on the back, racing novice cross on the back. He's done well. Obviously to have Paul Strather setting up the car, and Paul will be giving him driving tips as well. Samuel Johnston nips through on the inside line. Nice move there. Good clean bit of racing from the pair of them. Wherever you are on the grid, that's what we expect to see. As the battle for the lead, the battle for the 170 championship is still there. They're closing in on Robin Walker as well. Is Robin going to become a feature of this battle as he was in race number 1? Kirkpatrick challenging, chasing every way that he can. Closes up big time there. Now looks to the inside line. Lutey leaves half a gap there as they go into Coram. But that wider line means that Lutey might have a bit more momentum. He's hanging on to it. Walker's still out front. Paul's really got to think about if he catches the 190 car, how's he going to deal with that? So it's Lutey still leading, Kirkpatrick in second place, Fred Burgess in third. Goodness me, Burgess, it looks like he's going to continue his very impressive run of podia. He's going to be a man to watch next year. We've got maybe the driving standards flag going out. Back with Samuel Johnston, 7th position in class, with James Dennison busy chasing him. The Racing Journo really doing well on his debut here. Very, very well indeed. Tyler Ballard is ahead of them. Driving standards flag. It's shown to everybody in case, I guess, somebody doesn't see it. And it's kind of a warning for everyone else. It's got to be for track limits. Haven't seen any untoward contact in this race. As the 3 leaders continue to chase, 3 leaders in Class B, the 170s continue to chase Robin Walker. Now we've got Fred Burgess getting closer to Sam Kirkpatrick again. Burgess works hard coming up into Hamilton corner, a little bit further back. Gianni Piccioni having a good race with Tyler Ballard. Those two side by side, and back with the class lead. Lights on Lutey at the moment, onto the Bentley straight. So Paul Lutey is still in the driving seat here, and it's going to be, he needs to look at this. Lutey having a big challenge again from Sam Kirkpatrick, who's keeping it clean, just looking for that little gap. This is a lesson to any other championship to watch clean racing, and Hopefully that's not the curse of the commentator, but look at that. Kirkpatrick goes wide there. He's trying to just get a little bit more momentum out of the car as they go in towards Coram, but Luti's got him covered at the moment. I think they're closing on the 77 car, so Walker being closed on. That's Martin Webber that Walker's about to pass, so we've got the 160 second place standard class car just up ahead. In car with Paul Luthi, makes the pass, very neat pass indeed, great driving from Martin Webber, keeps to the pit wall, no problems at all. A little bit of a gap opens up actually now between Paul Luthi and Sam Kirkpatrick in second place, but Sam will get back on the gas as we ride on board. Paul Luthi's almost got more cameras than championship points. No, I'm joking, Paul. He really does give us a great idea of what he's doing. Turns into the hairpin. Kirkpatrick right back with him. Fred Burgess in third. Watch for the nose of Burgess' car to come into shot. We change shot. Back, looking back from Paul Luthi, the race leader for the 170s. They're closing on Robin Walker. I don't know if they're going to have the pace to be able to pass him. This is the downhill run on the infield section. Walker's not defensive, wide line from him. Luthi not defensive either. Paul Luthi looking confident enough despite the constant attention of Sam Kirkpatrick in P2. Kirkpatrick still trying everything possible that he can. In car again with Fred Burgess running in third place, trying to close down on them. Piccioni with the 55 car of Tom Butler nipping through on the inside line. So Piccioni and Butler dicing it out for fourth position in the 170s, and it's still Paul Luthi out front. If it stays like this, it is very much going to be, well, not very much Paul Luthi's championship, his title by a couple of points. Graham Ross, meanwhile, is out front, not only picking up a first win here at Snetterton, but looking likely to make it a double. He had a double at Donington Park, a double on home tarmac at Knock Hill. So this will be a third double for him out of 5 meetings this year. Slightly reduced calendar due to MG Live not taking place. So on to the last lap of the race. Ross looks like he's going to make it a double to sign off his second championship winning year. Doug Cole still second, Patrick Booth third from Robin Walker. Paul Luthi next up now. Sam Kirkpatrick on the penultimate lap, set the fastest lap of the race. It's another point potentially there unless Luthi can respond to that. So Kirkpatrick really throwing down the gauntlet here. He was quicker on the last tour than the man we're riding on board with at the moment. Luthi leads and he's in the box seat for the championship, but Kirkpatrick, you can see, he's that much closer as they come out of the hairpin. Short run down to Palmer, left-hander, then downhill in towards Agostini. In car with Luthi again. Kirkpatrick chasing. It's all about this last lap now. Robin Walker is up ahead of them, and Paul Luthi's probably praying that Robin doesn't have a moment and get involved in this challenge. Fred Burgess still a very good third place in his first season with us. Fred's only done part of the season. Kirkpatrick here again, matching Luthi inch for inch at the moment. Meanwhile, down the end of the Bentley straight, Ross is through. Doug Cole in second. Another great podium for Doug Cole, who drops a fair amount of points, Doug Cole, in the championship because he's started and finished every race this year. Great reliability, great prep from the DC Motorsport team over the course of the season. A hard-earned second position in the 190 category. He'll be disappointed not to have won the championship, but he'll be pleased with the reliability and his speed as well. He's shown great racecraft over the course of the year, as has Graham Ross, who is going to take another win. Exits Murray's, as does Doug Cole. Doug not that far behind, a couple of seconds, maybe 2.5 seconds as they go along centre straight towards the checkered flag, which is there. Graham Ross makes it a double to underline his championship further. Doug Cole in second. Patrick Booth's going to pick up third place overall, but what about the battle in the 190s? 170s? Who's going to take the championship? Here comes Patrick Booth in third place, and this is the battle for the championship. Luthi's there, but Sam Kirkpatrick's having a go. He very nearly got the overlap there as they come along the straight. He's having a run, but it looks like Paul Luthi's going to do it. Kirkpatrick can't quite get out of the slipstream, and it's Paul Luthi that takes the win and the championship for the 170s. It went right the way to the line, and Luthi's delighted with that. Sam Kirkpatrick can be proud of his year's racing too. What a race across the line go the chasers in the 170 category. Tom Butler, Gianni Piccioni, Tom Butler in fourth, Gianni next up. but it was Graham Ross, and we have got 2 Scottish champions in the 2019 MG Trophy. What a meeting, a great meeting sponsored by Norfolk Motor Group. Our thanks to them and all of our sponsors over the course of the season. And, well, let's hope that we get more of the same in 2020. It's probably not something we have to hope too much for because it's such a great championship, always delivers. Race result, Ross from Cole and Booth, Walker in 4th, Paul Luthi wins Class B, takes the championship. Sam Kirkpatrick 2nd from Fred Burgess, then Mike Harris, Tom Butler, Gianni Piccioni. Fastest laps, Graham Ross and Sam Kirkpatrick incidentally. 11th in the race was Tyler Ballard, then Sam Johnston, James Dennison, Joseph Delgado, Richard Marsh, Josh Bacon, Martin Webber, James Cole, Paul Savage and John Booth.
Graham, not only 2019 champion, but 2 first places. Couldn't get much better than that for the season.
I've had a cracking season. I really couldn't do much better. I've got nothing to complain about. Car's been reliable. There's been no damage. It's just been a great season, and to top it off with a couple of wins here, yeah, pretty sweet to be honest with you. Pretty sweet.
Doug, another great race, another great podium. You're consistent with these. You were catching there midway through the race, and then you dropped back a little bit again.
Yeah, I got the setup. It was a lot better. We changed tyres and changed the setup a little bit, and it was a lot better. The last couple of laps, I think I'd pushed a bit hard earlier on in the race, so we lost a little bit of grip. So after I'd got caught by Graham, got past the back marker before I had to go around the outside of Richie's, and I lost the toe. I tried for another lap, and I just weren't going to get there. So I thought it's better not to throw it off because I wanted second more than anything. So he's worthy champion. He's done a great job this year. I've chased him. I know every nook and cranny of the back of that car. But yeah, fair play. I pushed him hard for probably about 3/4 of it, but then I got caught by the back marker, and that's what screwed me. I lost the toe, and it was a case of bringing it home in one bit rather than roll it into a ball. I know we've got the winner to fix them, but I don't really want to spend the winter fixing my car.
2 races, 2 podiums, good, consistent, clean racing from yourself. You're on your own for a little while in that race, though.
I was by myself. I made a couple of mistakes early on, and then Doug and Graham got away, and then I really want to run the race again, because what I found near the end of the race, I was finding huge amounts of time going around the lap as I'm learning the circuit, but they won't let me run the race again, so I just have to be very happy with 3rd.
Paul, a nail-biting weekend really there. You pipped him to the post there, so it's all down to number crunching now.
Yeah, I think there's basically a ball here between the two of us in points. So I'm just glad that's over. That was tiring, very, very tiring.
Just 20 minutes is a long time in a car, but I bet it felt like it.
2 laps, actually 4 laps in, and I thought, right, we must be getting near the end. That's how desperate I was to finish, but it wasn't. It felt like forever. Every single corner seemed to take forever, and I was, so much to lose, you know, and one mistake.
Sam, another nail-biting race there, especially between yourself and Paul there, going for your particular championship title now. Nail-biting stuff. You won 1, he's won 1. It's all down to number crunching. But how was it from the driver's perspective?
It was quite an intense race, but just couldn't quite get past at the end.
Lots of efforts there, especially as we came through the chicanes and so forth, that infield again. So just looking for that opportunity. You think you could do it in 20 minutes, but it's very hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard to find a way past Sven because he's quite good at defensive racing, so I was having to look around the outside most of the time, and it's not really going to happen, is it?
What a season. Congratulations to our outright champion Graham Ross and our 170 champion Paul Luthi. Sam Kirkpatrick 2nd in 170s and 3rd in the overall championship, followed by Doug Cole, Tom Butler and Patrick Booth. Our 2 champions, Paul Luthi, the Class B champion, and our overall champion is Graham Ross. Congratulations to them. Thank you for watching. We hope to have your company again in 2020.